CommerCity. My name is Anurag. I'm presenting a company called Techies Infotech. I'm founder and CEO of a technology company. We are more into the e-commerce side. We do platforms in e-commerce and we scale them through digital marketing. So today we are here for the second episode of Let's Talk E-commerce. Let's Talk E-commerce is a community wherein we, as the name suggests, we only talk about e-commerce, and we are actually trying to build a community which is the largest community in UAE, which only talks about e-commerce. So we have around 250 members already who are part of the community, and we have people from all business verticals. We have people from e-commerce backgrounds, people working at C-level, people who are e-commerce entrepreneurs, and we would love all of you to be a part of that community as well. So with that note, I would like to invite our first speaker for the evening, Mr. Sergey. He is CTO at Inspiring, and he is Web 3.0 enthusiast. So he'll take you through the basics of Web 3.0, and then probably, we'll take up the questions towards the end of the session. So over to you, Sergey.
Thank you, Anurag. Hi, everyone. As Anurag already introduced me, well, my name is Sergey. I'm a fractional CTO to a company back in Amsterdam, where I lived for the last 7 years before moving to Dubai. And today, in a relatively short presentation, I want to run you through the basics, because we're talking about the future of e-commerce in Web3, and to understand the future, we want to look into the past and the present. So to start understanding the Web3 and the Metaverse and what is going on and how we can create value by the marriage of these two, I want to start from the fundamentals. And the first pillar is, if it changes, if not, I will need help. It's off, right? Yes. Sorry about that. Yes. So the first pillar is blockchain. Is good in the back? The sound? Cool. The blockchain. What is the blockchain? And why is it the pillar of everything? To understand the blockchain, we need to understand the concept of mutable data. What is mutable data? If you have an Excel sheet and, well, you have an Excel sheet, you can change data in it. You can add a record, you can remove one, you can update a record, you can send it to someone, they will change data in it, send it back to you. Sometimes you might not even realize that data has been changed. So that is the concept of mutable data, that you can change data into a document or a database, being it any kind of data storage. The concept of immutable data is, imagine the same Excel sheet where you can't change things, you can only add records. And you can't delete. You have a way to update records, and that's only by adding a new record, which states how a previous record has been updated. So that's the concept of immutability. You can't change data, you can only create new records. And this is important because that's what the blockchain is all about. It's about immutability of data. You can't change things, you can't break the series of records. And the blockchain itself, I would like to represent it like that, to be closer to the way we refer to it as the blockchain. It's a series of units of storage or logic connected together algorithmically. So it can't be broken. The order can't be broken. You can only add stuff to it, add records to it, but you can't go back and change because they are algorithmically locked together. So imagine, we say blockchain, but imagine it as the same series of records in an Excel sheet. It's just, we call them blocks, so a chain of blocks. And each of these blocks, they can, as I said, contain data and or logic. And that's the concept of a smart contract. So imagine the Excel sheet, one of the rows, you put a formula or something in it, it runs some logic, and it gives a result. And you can also interact with these blocks. So you can send some input, get some output out, write data, and take data out. But remember, we can't directly change the blocks. It will always be a new one added to determine what has been changed in one of these blocks in the chain. Now, in the same chain, we can have multiple blocks of different nature. So for example, one of the blocks could be a transaction, the next one could be a wallet, another one could be a token, the Ethereum, blockchain, whatever that token is, an NFT potentially, another transaction, and a wallet. So that's how the chain is constructed. Each of these blocks could have a different nature. And we hear the concept of decentralization. What is the decentralization? So the series of records, or the chain of blocks, is, imagine an Excel sheet, but it's not that. It's just to give you the analogy. A database, it's called a ledger, but it's like a database. You can consider it as such. It's a storage which is not centralized. It's not sitting in one computer in the world. It's sitting on multiple computers which are in real-time synced with each other. So basically you have real-time replicas of one of the ledger, which gives you the decentralization. So it's not centralized in one place. And that gives us some security. These are some benefits that the blockchain gives us. Some security because we can't change things in the blockchain. We can't, if we try to tamper with it in one of the nodes, automatically the other ones will kick you out in a way, just to express how the concept works. But basically, you can't go and change data in one of these servers, call it that way. And that gives us some trust. And I'm only referring to the technology because we're speaking about the blockchain. Let's leave out the crypto stuff, the layer on top of this. Hi, FTX and Luna, I'm talking to you. And it's transparent, so everything that happens on the chain, we can see it. Transactions, everything that goes on, that happens in all of these blocks, you can go and basically see what has been updated, what happened, and so on. So this is, in a nutshell, the blockchain. And it's important to understand the blockchain and the benefits of it, the security that it offers us, to be able to go further and understand what is Web3. What is the Web3 that we all speak about? To understand Web3, I would like to go back to Web 2. And I'm not going to go back to Web 1, which is a very simplified version of Web 2. It's the internet as it was born. So you often hear this example of Web 2 is read-only. You would only have static pages. You could not interact with it. Web 2 is the internet as we know it today. Platform, websites, you interact with it, you write, and you read. And the Web 3, this is an example of a server, well, the classical user that goes to a website which is sitting on a server. And just going back to the security of the blockchain, in Web 2, if I would hack your server, I could remove your data and you would be left with nothing. Now, in Web 3, and what is Web 3? You will not have websites anymore. You will have digital or decentralized applications. That's where dApp comes from. So no websites anymore, and all these dApps will run on the blockchains. So if you have a blog post about something that is uncomfortable for someone in the world and they want to take it out, in Web 2 they can, potentially. In Web 3 they can't because it's on the blockchain, can't be removed, it's decentralized, so in a way you have a better ownership of your own data. Now the apps can run on one or multiple blocks on the chain. And when you see decentralized exchanges and all sorts of new applications we will see in the Metaverse as well, running on the blockchain, they will operate in a decentralized way because many of the pieces of the data in the app and the operations, they end up being in these blocks, and you can't tamper with it anymore. It's there forever, I hope. So this is, in a nutshell, the Web 3. So that's why we started from the blockchain, which is the pillar of this. But now let's go further. What is the Metaverse? There are several, I think, misconceptions and I like to define it in a very simple way, a virtual and immersive space. Even though some people ask, is the metaverse one, and then you have a virtual space in it, or multiple virtual spaces in it, or is the metaverse, or are there multiple metaverses? So every basically application or virtual space you go in is a different metaverse. I like to define it as one layer, digital layer on top of our reality, and that's the metaverse. And then in that metaverse, we can have multiple virtual immersive spaces. Now, the metaverse being a actually, why the metaverse is happening now, and why are we here to understand more about it? And this is my view on it. So the hardware is catching up. The hardware gets better and better. So to have an immersive virtual environment, you need some pretty powerful device, right, to run and simulate an environment. And we're getting there. It's a generation that gets better and better at simulating these devices. Identity, and this is very interesting. It seems that our real world has some limitations due to the laws of physics. So everything that we buy, everything that we do, accessories, clothes, objects, cars, you name it, it's to create some sort of identity around us. But being in the real verse, or the real life, we have the physics, the laws of physics that don't allow us to have maybe a perfect identity. So we're always looking for more in terms of identity, to expand it for a larger, a bigger one. And the metaverse, or a virtual environment where you can technically create anything and anything is possible, can give us that identity to us, because technically you can be anything, right? You can be a dolphin, a bottle of water, a car. You choose what you want to be. We're always connected, and this is also something, in a way, we're less and less present in the present, and always with our mind in a digital or virtual space somewhere, because we're always on the phone. A lot of time we spend on the phone, so we're always connected. And we have high-speed internet, which is getting, I mean, the high-speed internet is very much contributing to the metaverse, because the connection between universes or metaverses requires that. And cryptocurrencies. And in my view, why cryptocurrencies are important, and we're talking about why the metaverse is happening now, this is a puzzle, and there are multiple pieces in this puzzle. And the cryptocurrencies, in my view, is one of these puzzles, because if we're talking about a metaverse at full scale, given that it's a virtual space where you can technically create anything, what if you can create money out of thin air, right? What if you can create anything out of thin air? In that case, you're not able to establish a sort of an economy that works within the metaverse. And the cryptocurrencies give us a way, or the technology behind it gives us a way to make it that money can't be faked. So if you have that within the metaverse, then we can sort of establish and create an economy. Otherwise, it's impossible, because everything you create, it's worth nothing. There's no value because it's easy to create. And let's look at some business models in the metaverse. So I hope it's not clear what the blockchain is, how it works, why it's the pillar of Web3, and how the new metaverse, or the metaverse, is thing of our days. But let's see how new business models will be born, and they are already. There are some guys in the back there that showed us some cool stuff today. So travel, you can put goggles on and travel anywhere in the world, potentially. Fashion, we saw some examples of fashion. You can wear or show to a friend on the other side of the world a wedding dress before showing it at the wedding, or choosing a wedding dress from a company all the way around the world. Healthcare, people with disabilities that can't go out of the house, they will be able to have an identity like everyone being able to go out and meet people. Oops, sorry, too fast. Education, you can technically be trained to fix a satellite in the space on your couch. Doctors, they can be trained to perform operations and things like that. Experiences, musical concerts, shows, and things like that, and many more. I think sky's the limit. But across all these, we can always offer something to sell. We can integrate e-commerce experiences in these business models, right? So, I don't know, a random example, an exhibition where you sell your art when people are traveling on the top of the Everest. Something crazy, right? But that's possible now, which was not possible before. Or benefits like instead of going for 2 days to car dealers, you can now maybe go and see the interior, the exteriors of a car from home without waiting in the queue, without driving, without spending time before you actually go and try that car physically. You have maybe a saloon and a customer comes in, you offer a way to try a haircut and to see what fits their needs, right? Because now everything is possible with the metaverse. So this is, in a nutshell, an introduction to each of these pillars. And I wanted to do that in order to bring everyone up to speed, in order to understand the discussions that will happen later tonight. And I think my time is up. And I want to thank you for the attention. And it's a segue into the next presentation from Ms. Zara. Thanks, Anurag.
Thank you so much, Sergey. It was really insightful. So I would request all the guests
What
to
do I
take
press?
a note of the questions.
Oh, okay.
Because we'll be taking queries towards the end of the
Where am I
session.
pressing here? Just next?
So next speaker is Ms. Zara Gorer. She's the CMO at Star Metaverse. She's also a board member of Blockchain Association at MIT, Director of Global Growth, United Africa Blockchain Association. Pleasure to have you with us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's good to see a good crowd over here. So I'm just going to do a little icebreaker to get to know you guys first. Okay, so how many of you are already in the Web3 space? Oh, a few show of hands. And anybody who runs a e-commerce business at the moment? On Web2, just Web2? No? Oh, you're already on Web3? Web2, still Web2? Okay, cool. And anybody using crypto already? Few show of hands. Okay. How about NFTs? Okay, we've got quite a good mixed crowd over here. So how many of you actually don't know anything about Web3? Oh, that's good. At least you guys have a good introduction from Sergey before. Okay, so let me start mine. So I'm going to speak more on the Web3 aspect in the e-commerce itself. So okay, let's start with how blockchain impacts e-commerce. So when we talk about blockchain, what do we talk about? We talk about the technology. Okay, we're talking about improved security. When we talk about improved security, that means it's on advanced cryptography. It provides more security, and it's almost unhackable. And then we go about talking about increased transparency. That's when every transaction that happens on the blockchain can be verified. You can actually look it up. And then talking about streamlined payment processes. So when you use cryptocurrency to make payments, it's really fast. Try to use your credit card only if you've got it attached on, then probably it's just one click away. But otherwise, with crypto, everything is quite fast. And the other thing that businesses would love in particular is actually the lower transaction fees. MasterCard and Visa, when you use them as a merchant, you actually have to pay quite a bit of processing fee. Don't you agree? Yeah? You guys are rather quiet here. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So improve supply chain management. How many of you have got your couriers like disappear, or you don't even know where they are? You know, I think it happens to a lot of us, even just normal people. And especially if you're buying from global, God knows. It even comes after a month, 2 months, 3 months, or never nobody knows what happens. So when you put everything on the blockchain, you can verify, you can actually see from A to Z what happens. And then we talk about new business models. I think Sergey touched a little bit on new business models, so it opens up a lot of opportunities in the Web3. What am I doing? So let's talk a bit about cryptocurrency. So a few of you have already started using crypto. So global payments, you know, I think most of us love this. Like I was living in Asia before and trying to get transactions, trying to get money or payments from anywhere from another side of the world. If you're using bank accounts, what happens? It takes between 3 days. I've even got transactions happen in 2 weeks. And then there's complications. They had to verify that this money came from where. You know, sometimes it takes you even up to 30 days to even get the cash. Okay? And I think some of you have experienced it if you actually done businesses globally. So with cryptocurrency, we can just send money from one point to another point. I think most of my transactions has happened within like 5 minutes. Hardly ever more, but I've heard up to 24 hours or 48 hours is possible. But these days, after 6 years being in the industry, I think things have really moved over. Okay, and they're talking about lower transaction fees. Like I said, MasterCard and Visa, they are charging you a lot just to accept payments. With cryptocurrency, the payment transaction fees is really, really low. So if you guys have started using it, you know how much you're saving every month, especially when you're doing high volumes. Okay? And so the next point is adoption is fast. How long has crypto been around? Just a little bit over a decade. And I think about 3 trillion people in the world have already adopted crypto. So this is a very fast transition in such a short time. And okay, so another thing that crypto can benefit e-commerce businesses is when you're using crypto for payments. So instead of you putting that money into transaction fees, you know, why don't you offer discounts? So if you keep on giving incentives to people to actually purchase using crypto, then you will see more benefits. If you're giving a discount, people would rather adopt and use it because who doesn't want discounts? And so next is providing greater accessibility. So, you know, cryptocurrency is very global. We are not limited. Even you're in a underbanked or unbankable countries like Africa, you can still use crypto. As you see, if in Africa, we're going to Africa, Nigeria is one of the largest adopter of crypto. A lot of people are using that because even for them to open a simple bank account proves to be really, really tough. So people move to crypto, and a lot of P2P has been happening over there. So for you who don't know, it's peer-to-peer. So people are selling and buying with cash and crypto, and that's how they are living for the past couple of years. And cryptocurrency would provide a whole new economy, I feel. So it's a whole new economy. It creates more jobs. It creates a different niche. It increases the GDP of every country in a different way. And I'll move forward. So let's talk about NFTs. So a few people showed up hands before about NFTs. So NFTs is a new way of identity. You know, if you get an NFT from a particular brand, perhaps, what they can do is they can say, if you have this NFT, you can be an OG. OG is, the actual term is original gangster, which actually means the origin. Okay, so if you have an OG NFT and you go to a particular brand, they can say something like, you are gonna get 20%, 30%, 50% off your entire lifetime as long as you shop with us, something along those lines. And then NFT is actually a unique digital asset. There's many things that you can do with it. Okay, and you can, even as a business, you can offer different offerings. So you can use the NFTs as discounts. You can use it as I'll touch on the next point as well, token-gated commerce. So token-gated commerce is something like having the NFT enables you to probably go for a particular event or get a discount from maybe limited edition things, something along that. And then we've got integrated NFT, whereby you have an NFT. NFT is a digital asset. And if you have an integrated NFT, you can use the digital asset to get in real life discounts. So something that we at Star Metaverse are doing, we are trying to make businesses come on board. And what we do is, when you have the particular NFT, you can go to real life businesses and actually redeem them for maybe a free something or a discount of something. That gives people more leverage on why they should come on board and make use of this. So just a little statistic that we picked out. This was the last statistics that came out on March 2022. So if we see business sectors that are already on the metaverse, we are seeing a lot of computer and IT, we are seeing a lot of education, finance, marketing, advertising, and as you can see, like many are already coming on board. Even defense is in the list already. So you know, countries are adopting, businesses are adopting, and it's not like how when Web 1 came out, everybody was skeptical. Everybody was still wondering, like, where is this going to go? And everyone's just having the wait and see attitude. But in Web 3, I feel that all of you should take the opportunity and jump into it. Slow, but you don't have to, please don't do the wait and approach, you'll miss out again. Because I think we have seen what's happened over the years. So now my favorite topic, the metaverse. How many of you have experienced any metaverse? Oh, nice. A few people. That's good. Which one? Decentraland, Roblox? Decentraland, okay, cool. Oh, cool. Okay, so what is Metaverse? As Sergey said before, it's a virtual and immersive platform. Yeah, so we've got VR, AR, 3D integrated all together. Is the future of the internet. You know, in Web 2, what we could do, we could actually just open a browser, look at it on our screen, and actually start shopping. But what happens in the metaverse is actually you could actually be in it. Use your VR Oculus, and you could just be in the same place and start shopping for things. This is where e-commerce comes into place. So from e-commerce, now we are moving to the module of e-commerce moving to v-commerce. So we've got virtual showrooms and we've got product customization. So talking about virtual showrooms, you can either have a physical store, which is a one-to-one. So if you have it in real life, it can look the same exactly in the metaverse. Or you can even opt, oh, okay, I want just something simple. In the metaverse, you can also do that. But in product customization, let's say you want to make a piece of jewelry, you want it to be custom made. You know, you can make it in the metaverse, see everything, and be happy with it before they actually go and manufacture it. Because after manufacturing, it's kind of hard, I think, to kind of change the jewelry piece around. You know, so something like that. Or if you're renovating your apartment, if you're able to go in and put all your things together, all your decor, and then you see, hey, this is, you put on a VR glass and enter and be like, okay, this is how I love to live every day. I love to walk into my hall looking like this every day. You'll be happy. Looking at pictures, putting things together is still the way. I mean, it works in some people, but when we're moving towards this, if you have the option to actually experience it, why not? And then as a business, you can always do virtual events, okay? So product launches, you can do fashion shows, you can do literally anything, just name it. You can have concerts, you can do your sales online, you can have a whole community online which promotes and advocates for your business. And then let's talk a bit about gamified shopping experience. So as we all know, Metaverse has some elements of gaming to it. So, you know, if you could come to the Metaverse, maybe play a quest, play an activity, and actually earn an NFT or tokens out of it, which you can redeem in real life. Isn't that something you look at doing? You know, because not everybody is ready to just be up in the metaverse. And then let's talk about social proof. So social proof is where when influencers and everything, you know, they can showcase products, they can showcase everything in the metaverse and actually have a community which are advocating for the particular product or brand, and you can have a social proof, your own community as it is. And the other best part about this is it's actually a new revenue stream for businesses. So if you can generate revenue from having a virtual commerce store or product customization, and at the same time, it's lesser cost, you know, you would want to do it because everybody wants to cut transaction fees. Everybody wants to cut the middleman. That's what businesses are all about. And so that was it. And now we are just talking a little bit on how Web 2 transitions to Web 3. What do you need and how do you do it? Sergey has touched quite a bit. So we've got the DApp. As you guys know, you can have a virtual store. And obviously, you have to have a good hardware. Because I have noticed like people with just you know, simple laptops, then you have a little bit of problem. So as a company, you should be able to provide this hardware and be able to push it out. And not everybody has Oculus, so what do people do? So you have to have varieties of ways that people can actually view your store. And at the same time, marketing strategy is very important, so that is something you always need to take in space. And with Dubai being like a hub in Metaverse and everything at the moment, I think we are all in the right space at the right time. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, last but not the least, Mr. Victor, he's Director Experience Consulting at EPAM Middle East. He's also forum member of Metaverse Standards. So welcome, Victor, welcome to Dubai CommerCity. Over to you.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Thank you. Well, I'm the last one. I hope you're awake. Yeah? Very awake. Very awake? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for my colleagues to put in really, really in-depth information. I'm not going to talk much about blockchain, to be honest. I'm going to talk about data. And it's good that Sergey started that way. The blockchain is all about data, but your commerce is all about data, isn't it? Who eats data in the morning? Who has breakfast, reports as breakfast? Come on, guys, I need you to be awake. Yeah? It's going to be challenging. This one is going to be challenging. So pay attention, yeah? So I'm going to talk about data interoperability. I don't know who's familiar with the term data interoperability. You do? Fantastic. You do this in your e-commerce every day in and day out. We discuss this on a Web3 level, which is at the same things, more or less, that we do in Web2, yeah? I want to help you a little bit understand how you can measure. Not just only what you can do, but how to measure what you do, right? Because it's going to be super important. There we go. Well, that's me. Thank you very much. But that's me in the virtual world, yeah? I don't know if you have avatars. Yes? You can customize it. That's me. It's a good reflection, I guess. So I want to talk about what is data interoperability. So interoperability is a word that has been the buzzword of this year, 2022. And I was in a chat, actually, when I met Anurag. We were three really, let's say, in-depth professionals in Web3, and we didn't use the word a single time for the whole keynote. That was impressive. We were really amazed on that. But I really want to make that emphasis here. So data interoperability, as much as the term might not sound familiar, data it is, right? So you have all the information, facts, figures that you utilize to validate what you do, right? The interoperability side of things is what happens to connect those things, and how do you stitch the dots, right? In the Web 3, there's multiple worlds, and in the Web 2, is multiple sites, websites, mobile apps, you name it, right? The actual term to connect both is the agility to visualize that. How can you transfer from one world to another the data sets that are created in one world to another one? And this could be a block on the chain, so on-chain data. Could be an NFT, a digital wearable, a token, whatever it is, right? So if we go a little bit deeper on that, so it enables people to find and explore and understand the structure and the content of that, right? You still with me? Are you sure? Okay. So I was saying is the buzzword of the year. So if you search on Google Trends, which you most probably use on a daily basis, you will see that this is the biggest buzzword of the year. Everyone is using it because there's something as the open metaverse that we haven't really reached there yet, and we won't reach there yet, most probably in 2030, as the experts are announcing, because the worlds are not connected to each other, right? There's no interoperability in that sense. So why? Because of all of this, interoperability has been the buzzword. You have blockchain that needs data interoperability. You have the metaverse who needs data interoperability. You have NFTs that cannot live without that. You have the DAOs that actually are a decentralized autonomous organization that are fed by all these new Web3 developments. And the smart contracts, which they don't really cross on chains. Most of the cases you have on one or the other blockchains. Yeah. So leaving everything aside, let me help you a little bit to guide you on what the metaverse is and how can you perform some commerce activities there. Yep. Do you hear me better now? So what the metaverse is. Everyone, and Sergey put it really nicely, everyone has his own opinion and everyone has his own definition because there's no really one that can define where we are today. But there's one woman that is Kathy Hackel. If you don't follow her, please do, because she's the godmother of the metaverse, as I coined the term. And the metaverse is the seamless convergence of the physical and the digital world. And you put it really nicely. We live in what is real and what is not. I don't know, who has kids? Okay, not many, that's good. you still sleep at night and you have some peaceful life. Those ones who don't, who have kids, you will see that they actually live in Minecraft, for example, or Roblox, depending on the age, right? What is real and not real for them is not the same for you. If they purchase something online on Minecraft or Roblox, for them is real. It's real money spent in a real platform, getting a real asset. For us, it's still virtual. It's a differentiation for us, right? So what she's saying is that convergence of both worlds for us as adults. For me, is an augmented experience. It's an enhancement to our life. We are us here in the real world, and we have some identity and avatars in the actual virtual world. But it's an enhancement, it's an augmented experience for us. Yet, not yet, no, it's not fully there. So, you still with me? Yes, okay. As well put by Sergey, there's only one metaverse. This is the key, right? As there is only one internet. In internet, you have multiple websites, you have multiple platforms, you have mobile apps that feeds from internet. In the metaverse, it's the same. There are subdomains. There are not metaverses. There's one metaverse as an open metaverse, and then you have virtual worlds who have some components of commerce, of gaming, of socializing, and that is the actual layer that defines what the open metaverse is. Again, this is my opinion, and you will find many different other opinions out there. So, which virtual worlds there are? There are plenty of them. There are really a lot, right? At this stage, there's I would say 5 really the most prominent ones. You have Roblox, which is a game, a virtual game that is becoming a virtual world where people can actually commerce, buy things, purchase things, but as well they can actually socialize, they can play, and they can experience virtual in a different world, right? And it has its own characteristics. And I will explain why interoperability is important. You have Decentraland as well, similar, completely decentralized, owned by the users who purchase land. Those are the owners, and they have voting power. Part of the foundation of Decentraland is literally giving the power to the owners of the land. You have the sandbox, which is similar to Decentraland, is one of the most prominent ones, but it's still capped because the land is owned by them. You need to purchase your own land, but it's literally all the data, all the SDKs, all the APIs are controlled by them. So that is not decentralized in a sense, right? It's centralized, it's Facebook. I love it, by the way, but it's still centralized. And then you have gaming, proper gaming, which are not yet there, but is becoming that part of the metaverse. That is Fortnite. There's other ones. In this case, you will see Meta, that is trying to become that. You have Zepeto, for those ones who don't know, is the biggest virtual world in Asia, in Southeast Asia. You have Upland, you have NextEarth, you have Otherside, and the list goes on and on. I will say, in my opinion, Anurag asked me if we can do a demo. I don't think I have time for that, but I will recommend you to enter Spatial. It's really easy, okay? Who knows Spatial? I see some, no, yeah? Yes, okay. 4 hands, I see. This is the easiest one for you to access. Why? Because it's mobile. It's desktop and mobile version, yeah? It's an enhancement of your experience. You don't need to be savvy. You don't need to buy a land. You don't need to buy crypto. You don't need to buy NFTs. You go, you open on the platform, open your profile, create your avatar, you choose your home, your office, your auditorium, whatever you want, and you can enter the virtual world and experience that. What is really amazing is that they created bubbles. So you can connect your own places and create bubbles to teleport yourself to another place. The same way you go from Dubai to Paris, yeah? You take a plane, in this case you go, you get into the bubble and you land somewhere else. So the term of interoperability for the world itself, it's there, but it's only applicable within Spatial. And I will tell you a little bit more because it's really interesting what the developments are done. The data that you will get there is really limited. Most of the times, you get monthly active users, daily active users, behavioral data, environmental, transactional. That is what they can provide to you. In the sandbox, for example, you need to go through them. They build the data, the data sets, the reports, and you can extract that from there. On Decentraland, you create that from scratch, and you can create scripts the way you want it through the SDKs, yeah? So, however, do they share this data with the world, in world brands? So your brands will actually get that kind of level of data the way you want it is going to be limited. And it's why? Because not every single world is decentralized, yeah? If you go to Spatial, for example, or to Roblox, you don't get pretty much any data unless you are Gucci, because you buy that piece of plot, that piece of land, you create a section within the game, and they will provide you with all the details, all the data, all the reports that you need. But if not, you cannot access to that. If we look at, for example, the Metaverse Fashion Week, which happened in Decentraland, I think it was April last year, somewhere there, this year, sorry. I spoke with the organization, and apart from the buzz, no one can actually have a single report of how many people attended, how many people went to a specific catwalk, how many people watched a collection, how many people purchased that collection, how many people actually went to the store and asked for that collection in real life. That is not there. There's no data. The only thing they got is daily active users and monthly active users who got into Decentraland because of them. Yeah? So can brands aggregate that data in multiple plots? If you own, for example, in Decentraland, 2 plots in different parts of the world, can you aggregate that within the actual world? No. You need to extract the data, plug it into your Excel sheet report, and put it as a visualization in Google Data Studio, and you will get it, right? That is easy. But it's still manual. Let's say, as I was saying, you own those 2, right? Can you actually aggregate from multi-world that it will be from Decentraland and the sandbox? That is completely impossible for now. There's no aggregation, there's no platform, and I'm giving you a nice idea on how to build your next unicorn. There's no aggregated data sets or data platforms that can bring those multi-worlds into one section with one platform and visualize it, yeah? This is exactly what I'm speaking at the Metaverse Stand-Up Forum, and there's, I think it's 2,000 people, 2,000 different companies. There's different different groups, working groups, and there's one for brand data analytics, and we're 3 people there. There's no caring as much as we would love to for the data side. It's more for how the world is connected, how the identity, the objects, the NFTs, the blockchain, that part is the main focus. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, I think, yeah? I don't know. Let's say your customer navigates from one world to another, yeah? Let's say you have your Decentraland store as a POS, and you have another one in the sandbox. Can the user go from one place to another? What do you think? No. If someone purchases, let's say, any of these items, virtual assets, can they take it to the next virtual world? No. Let's say non-fungible tokens, NFTs, yeah? You have pieces of land, you have apparel, digital twins, you have the Bored Apes of the likes, NFTs, that is access to a community, as Sarah was saying. You have event tickets, you have loyalty programs, and collectibles. As I was saying, each of the worlds has a different feature, has a different set, is built differently, more hyper-realistic, more cartoonish. The actual graphics of that game, it's not interoperable between the different worlds. You cannot take your own avatar from one place to another because it needs to change. It needs to completely transform into the characteristics of that world. So it is limited the way that we can still connect those worlds and take our NFTs from one place to another. So what is that in terms of the challenge that the industry is trying to change? And there's one company who is aware of Ready Player Me. I think this guy here, for sure, he knows, but he's gone. So Ready Player Me, it's a company who started to create what is called the Avatar API. With an Avatar API, what you can do is start selling direct to avatar. It's not direct to consumer, but it's selling to the avatar, your products and wearables. So that avatar can travel and teleport from one world to another, yeah? This is in spatial. That's why I recommended spatial, because it's really, as an entry point, it's really easy for you to understand how it operates. You can create your avatar with your, let's say, Pull and Bear, or Benefit Cosmetic, or Dune, if you're aware of Dune, the movie, and no? Okay. You can put your wearables the way you want it, yeah? And you can travel from different places, different virtual worlds within the spatial world. What is the differentiation between decentralized and centralized is clear. You have Meta on one side. Everything that is in that side is similar to Meta and Facebook. The only one that is decentralized is Decentraland. As I said, it's because it's owned by the owners. So what kind of level of data you collect? We kind of discussed this. Let's say you are Forever 21 and you build your store in Decentraland. It is limited data unless you start building SDKs and your own scripts that can be input into the code of the building, and then from there start extracting. But you will be only taking that manually, yeah? this got broken a little bit, but how do you convince, in my case, I work in a consultancy firm, yeah? How do I convince a CMO to spend a few millions with me because I have, amazing buzzwords about the Web3 and the Metaverse and how everything connects to each other and we're in a revolution? Give me a couple of millions. What do you do with that? I'm going to create a Tiffany kind of collection with CryptoPunks. It's really hard, yeah? Even if it's $10,000 or $100,000, sorry, it got broken there, or $100 million is really difficult because there's not enough data to validate what we're saying. How can I give them an ROI of what we're doing and convince him that is the key, right? It's that kind of level of data. Really quickly, let's look inside a store. You get a store, normal store, physical, or your e-com store. You collect hundreds of thousands of different data sets, right? You can combine it, you can have your KPIs, then you have primary KPIs, secondary KPIs, you name it. But you have that level of granularity on your business. In the metaverse, this is still not there yet, right? So it is really important. All of this is to land on the 3 different strategies that are for virtual commerce. You have virtual to virtual, which is direct to avatar. You're selling not to the consumer, you're selling to the avatar's consumer, to the virtual self of that person. You have virtual to physical, which is the meta commerce, or more that virtual commerce that we're all aware of. And then you have physical to virtual, which is in a way an enhancement of what we have today, as I was saying before. So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm sure you heard about luxury industry being at the forefront of spending and activating their presence in the metaverse, in the Web3. Why? It's actually, I think it was 49% of GCC luxury customers own, I think it was between $1,250 and $5,000 worth of crypto in the digital wallet. It's one of the most forward-thinking, luxury consumers in the world, apart from Nigeria, who has a lot of crypto. That's what I was saying as well. These guys, the luxury market is booming. And it's why, because of the pandemic and the recovery that they took, it was so big, they invested quite a lot in new technology, and it's a free space for them to test and build new communities. And I can tell you, there's Tiffany, I will show you later. So then you have another one like virtual to virtual, direct to avatar, that is Artifact, bought by Nike years ago, a couple of years ago, a year ago. And what they're doing right now is not only building designs, virtual designs, but building the actual physical design of that. So you purchase the NFT, and that gives you access completely to the drop of the new sneakers. If you don't have the NFT, you cannot purchase the sneakers. So there was a new release, that piece there is a replica, inspired model for the Back to the Future. They created a campaign, and if you see the light here, you need to check online. This piece is a replica of what they sold as an NFT. That is the actual pill. Yeah. Adidas did another amazing campaign as well with Bored Apes, which is really similar in the way that they do from virtual to virtual and then replicate to physical. Yeah. Direct to consumer. You sell your NFTs. You create a collection, and you sell, let's say, 10,000, 1,000. You create rarity on those designs, and because of that, you give premium access to certain, let's say, ranges of your community. That community, as I was saying as well, can come for life. They have a discount, or they have granted access for events. They have, premium privileges that no others will have. And you can create collections on the collection in future ones. So it's not one of you sell, that's it. You can actually build a whole new business out of this. Bored Apes, if you're not familiar with Bored Apes, this is Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, and CloneX. CloneX is with Nike. Bored Apes is with Adidas. And now you have CryptoPunks, the ugliest one, with Tiffany. What they did, those brands, is to tap in new early adopter communities and win their hearts directly, just by owning 500,000 You say first, $500,000 cost of this NFT, of this JPEG, yeah? These are the only ones who are selling in the secondary market. If you go out there, NFTs pretty much don't sell anymore in the last year or so because they don't have utility. So people are giving it for free. You pay the gas fee, that costs you the NFT, and you are part of my community. So Anurag, I'm sure at some point, is going to send us a message, say, hey, this is the NFT campaign. Why don't you be part of my community? I give you free access to more sessions, premium ones. Pickle. Who eats Pickle here? Who knows Pickle, the brand? Yeah? Burger lovers? Yes. So they did the first one, virtual to physical. First F&B brand, but as well the first F&B brand here in the region, worldwide and in the region, that actually you can go to Decentraland, go to their burger chain, order your pickle burger, pay with crypto, with Mana from Decentraland, and get it delivered in 30 minutes. It is a hassle. You need to access Decentraland, you need to go to there, teleport to the land, go to the place, order, pay with crypto, takes a while, right? You go to Talabat, Deliveroo, Kareem, and you get it in the same time, maybe less. But this is a massive PR for any brand. Everyone knows Pickle right now. You all here pretty much know Pickle. If we look at Porsche, automotive, this is an amazing community of Porsche owners that they're really engaged with the brand. They bought first, most probably one Porsche years ago, and they keep on buying Porsche all their life. I don't have a Porsche. I'm not part of the community. But I can tell you that the buzz that created, because of the VIP access that will give you if you own the NFT for Porsche, it's insane, right? You can go with that and sell it after in the second market for whatever price you want to say. Because it's a luxury brand, there's no price. It's the price that someone believes that that NFT or that access to that community will have for him or for her. If you look at Starbucks, virtual to physical, loyalty program. You go to Starbucks, and now you have, it's going to be first in the US and then expanded in the world, but you have a loyalty program that didn't call it an NFT. It's just a loyalty program. The foundations is an NFT, but it's not an NFT. It's a loyalty program. Gives you access to many different benefits as well. Walmart, with Walmart Land in Roblox as well, they did the similar loyalty program, but it's gamified. So you need to play, you need to come. It's more for kids. They're not the direct consumer. They don't go to shop to Walmart, mostly because it's from 7 to 13 years old, the audience. What they're doing is engaging and creating loyalty for the future consumers, because it's embedded already in the culture of those kids. As I was saying, you have CryptoPunks and Tiffany, that they went from the actual NFT to a piece of jewelry that you can actually purchase as well. So you, because you purchase CryptoPunk, you have access to a special collection that only you can buy. And if someone wears that in a place where other people know, then you have it's a status. It becomes a status, right? Homegrown one, Level Shoes, launched recently. I don't know who's fan of Lanvin shoes. They're quite big. I love them. I would never wear them. But they did an amazing campaign as well, recently, Charles Hoop. And there's actually one of the pioneers in the region, I will say, it's Charles Hoop, because they own different luxury brands. They're really forward-thinking in the way that they build innovation. And the same way, it's a phygital experience. It started physical. There's a product in store that you can buy. And if you buy that, you get the NFT. And the NFT gives you access to the community. So it's the other way around. It's the opposite. Last, I will say the Mac as a really key, interesting opportunity. You sell a real estate. You sell a piece of land, let's say, yeah? And I'm going to give you an added value to that, but I'm going to give it to the brokers itself. I'm as a DAMAC, I'm not going to give you the NFT. I'm not going to give you the digital twin. It's going to be the broker. If you purchase that house with me, with them, I give you a digital twin of that house so you can put it up in the virtual world. So now you own a piece of land, real land or a house, and the same way you have the same house online. And then is I would say my favorite one, that is not NFT, because the industry is evolving really quickly. It's called PBT, physical backed tokens. Who remembers here NFC and RFID technology? One guy there, too. I came to Dubai to do NFC and RFID technology for social media within events. I crashed myself to the wall, big time, yeah? I decided to quit, but the same as QR codes, are coming back, right? So the technology has cycles, and mostly all the time is timing. And I want to end with that. This technology, you put an RFID or an NFC tag on any cloth, on any apparel, whatever it is, that the moment that you tap with your phone, because every phone, and Sergey put it as well, Sarah, hardware is really important, and technology is always about timing and hardware, adoption of that. Now you can actually tap into that NFC, and you collect the NFT directly in your phone. You can put a QR code, scan it, takes you to a landing page, pops, and the NFT is in your phone. You can save it in your wallet. So adoption is not that hard. What is hard is the jargon, is the technology. And as you can see, Starbucks did it, no one called it NFT, or Reddit didn't call it NFTs as a marketplace, but because they had the users, they converted 3 million users in a few hours. So this is the magic of it. Yeah. There are other brands. I'm sure you can maybe check them as well. There's amazing cases and plenty of them to inspire your commerce journey. That is pretty much for me. So I want to always finish with this. If the NFTs are the products, the assets of the Web3, and the Metaverse is the experience, you, as I started, you have data for breakfast. Data is the validation of everything we do in this world as well. Don't forget about it, yeah? There's Q&A session, but I don't know if there's time for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Victor. It was really an insightful session. So before we break to the networking part, I would like to share a few questions from the audience. Any questions for any of our speakers?